I see the video
Hey, Nima.
skipping, but I'm really worried about it, but we'll see.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I am doing really well, and it is really hot in my room. There we go.
Summer sucks.
There was way too long of a white screen on there, but we're on there now. It's our faces.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Steadiocast. I'm Remy.
Welcome to Steadiocast. I'm Nima.
Douchebag.
Sorry. Oh god.
We just watched.
It's just white screen, and there we go. There's our faces. There we go. Sorry. That was my bad, folks.
We just watched episode 1 of Game of Thrones season 7.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
It's off to a great start, man.
Yeah, obviously. We're proud of this. No, we're not. Which brings me to a point, Nima.
Go ahead.
Everyone who's looking at us right now, hoping for an in-depth review, you might want to go find that somewhere else. We're just two buddies talking about this show, and so we both really like this show a lot, and we're just going to talk about it. So, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe somewhere in there on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And now Nima will indulge you with some other things.
Some other things. Yeah, so thank you everybody for joining. We really appreciate it. We are, over the next few weeks, whatever amount of length this series is going to be, we're going to try to build not only our own knowledge of Game of Thrones, but build a little community of people that can come hang out after the show, have a good time, discuss what just happened, discuss the things we liked or didn't like. So this is a safe and fun environment for people to just come, join, hang out, have a good time, and talk about the shit that we all like. So... Speaking of which, oh god. Speaking of which, this was what was the name of the episode?
Dragonstone, which is a castle by the sea, I guess.
I want to call it Dragonborn, but that's a completely different thing. So Dragonstone, is that the castle that we saw at the very end of this? Is that it, or is that not it?
Yeah, the one that Daenerys lands on with Tyrion and stuff.
Yeah, but we've seen that castle many times before.
True. I think Stannis was in there.
I was going to ask you, is that the guy, the brother of, one of the many brothers of the old
brothers
king?
of King Roberts.
Yeah. Speaking of which, if you guys are seeing this and seeing me and Remy struggle with these names, we can promise it might get better, but, you know, we'll work at it. As of right now, I'm going to struggle really hard, at least myself, with these names.
It's okay. I think I got the name, Zima. I think so.
All right. Well, what was the old king's name?
What is this? A queen? A quiz?
Yeah. What was the old king's name?
Wait, the one that's friends with Ned Stark?
Yep.
That's King Robert. And he was Stannis' brother.
God, you're getting robotic at the best moments.
Now they're both dead, but
all right.
yeah, it's the same place with the board with the ships. So
yeah, the coolest table on the planet.
Yeah, totally.
We need to build one of those. So tell me, what did you think about it?
The episode,
yeah.
I liked it, man. I love the plot. The plot thickens.
In what way? In what way did the plot progress for you?
You know, for example, you see the Hound, the guy that's afraid of fire, and he sees some stuff in the fire, which is pretty cool. I mean, there was a bunch of developments, man. I
think he had probably the most character progression in this whole episode so far, because they and I do love every time they bring him on. He's one of those characters that you love to hate and you hate to love.
But dude, Arya too. Arya got she when she has this interaction with Lannister army people, guys, kids, and she realizes that they're just like other people with families, and and she has this like growth of character there. I think that was pretty cool, interesting.
And I think she was kind of caught off guard because they were just being genuinely nice people,
right?
Which is something she may not be used to that much.
But she knew right away they were Lannisters. So I don't know. After what she just did.
Do you mean the recreation of basically the Red Wedding almost, where she killed everybody in that room? Right.
Everyone.
The thing this is one thing I don't understand about this show is, and it's pretty much any show or any movie that tries to pass the disguise thing, she's a tiny little girl. She can't pass off as a big old man. Like that's I know
that was weird. That was weird.
But I mean, I love it.
But now she knows, like, story, as far as the story goes, it's amazing what happened with her. The fact that she did that is so cool. Maybe maybe, you know, it was not as cool looking as we were hoping it to be or something.
No, it looked great. The thing that always throws me off is when somebody really short puts on a disguise and somehow immediately becomes somebody really tall. And that's the thing that throws me off.
But she's got powers now. She's like, she can change faces.
Which
I don't know if
is
she can
awesome.
change height or, you know, body weight.
I imagine they actually become, like, I imagine part of the lore is when you put on that face, you become that person. If that's the case, then you're taller. Too. Right, exactly. But it's trippy. Now that we're still on the topic of Arya, I'm kind of not like, I mean, not that I don't like it, but I don't know how I feel about Arya just getting joy out of killing people, which I know that's a character progression. That's the place the character needs to be, but it's really weird to see.
Well, they're just shocking us, man. Just a new kind of storytelling. It's just shocking.
True.
Knowing that now she's capable of that and might be enjoying it makes you think.
Right? But
after all she's been through, then you're like, okay, I get it. Same for Sansa and Jon now.
Yep.
They're starting to butt heads, which is really, really interesting. But at the same time, you get both of their, you know, points of views because you followed them for so long now. Still, though, I think Sansa was right about this thing.
No,
she had a good point.
I agreed with John. You're talking about the argument that they were having about giving the castle back, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. I agreed with John, but I think that was the whole point of the sequence. Is half the people will agree with John, half the people will agree with Sansa. Yeah. One of the things that whole sequence and seeing Arya right before kill people made me think about is, you know, in the Dark Knight, I think, or Dark Knight Rises, Two-Face tells Batman, like, you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. Like, it kind of made me think that way, that all these people that we really like are making decisions that if the show wasn't about them, we would immediately think these are the bad guys.
They're villains. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So I actually love that. And I really hope it gets to the point that you see Jon progress to become as evil of a king as the rest of them we saw earlier on in the last few seasons. That would be amazing progression, but we don't know where the show's going.
That'd be cool. I mean, there's so many things. Like I really feel like Daenerys has, you know, boat army is gonna get crushed by. That's when the names. The Greyjoy's brother, that's rogue now, that built new ships and has met Cersei at King's Landing.
So you think he's gonna destroy who?
The other fleet.
The other fleet that's
fleet.
But that fleet is his niece, right? Is his niece's. And with the dragon lady. That fleet, that's the niece and Theon Greyjoy. Correct.
That they took all the ships from the Greyjoys in their ports and stuff, whatever, and they came to talk to Daenerys, and then they're on their way to Westeros. And then at the same time, this guy, the uncle, I think he's an uncle. Mm-hmm. He built new ships, and he went to King's Landing to do some kind of deal with the Queen, which is Cersei.
Okay. So what is the thing that he promised to the Queen?
I don't know. I think he's gonna try to get Tyrion's head or something, because he's gonna or like a dragon. Mariah suggested a dragon, which she might be on the show next week, so it should be pretty interesting.
Oh, let's try it. But so he's gonna kill a dragon? Oh, this is one of those things that the books aren't out yet.
I don't know. Well, he's gonna have to prove to Cersei his loyalty to the Lannisters, is what's going on.
Right.
And he apparently he knows what he's gonna do, because he thinks he knows what she wants. So what could it be? She wants Tyrion, and then she wants, you know, the Dragon Queen to be gone. Okay. So that's probably gonna happen. Yeah. And then, oh gosh, what do you think of Sam's little scenes?
That whole Sam's introductory sequence was so unlike anything else in Game of Thrones. I feel like it doesn't belong there.
Really?
But it was enjoyable. I had a good time watching it. But that sequence, that the way you make and the faster edits and the faster cuts that match with the sounds and everything else, I don't know if it belongs in a fantasy setting. It's more of a modern kind of
Ah,
the usage of it needs to be in a more modern thing,
sure.
I feel like. But
Sure.
I still had a good time watching it, and like,
Yeah.
I'm not good with disgusting footage, so I was right along with Sam. Every time they would cut to something disgusting, I'm like, oh.
I know. I was like, oh, the whole time. Do you think he's gonna? I mean, he's already found out about Dragonstone in the book.
Right.
Oh, and then he had this really interesting conversation with his teacher or whatever.
Meister, Arch something.
Yeah, his Meister or whatever.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. The conversation. It kind of flew over my head. It was kind of philosophical and stuff, but I liked it.
I do like the fact that he was excusing everybody doubting him, saying that this is the kind of place that everybody doubts. I like that idea. I like the idea that
the Meister.
Yeah, the Meister was saying that when you come to the Citadel, you shouldn't be surprised that everybody has doubts in what you say, because this is the place that everybody has doubts. Because they've been
science.
Exactly. This is a place of learning. So nobody is going to come and everybody's going to be like, yep, you're right. We're going to believe you from this point on. I like that idea.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Makes sense. But then he sends like a raven to John. What's John going to be able to do about the Dragonstone? I know he's like on a quest to find Dragonstone now,
right.
But isn't Dragonstone the place? I mean, it's pretty far from Winterfell.
Okay. This is all on your shoulders.
Actually,
man.
I don't. This is when we need a map on the screen so people can watch us talk
that
about
would
the
be
map.
Great. I'm going to find something like that.
Where Dragonstone is in comparison to King's Landing and Westeros. King's Landing, because I want to know how close the enemy fleet is to Daenerys' fleet, and how far Jon Snow is going to have to go to retrieve the Dragonstone, and how close it's going to be, because he can't just leave Winterfell if it's like a month worth of traveling to get the Dragonstone.
And the kind of place that they were showing the castles at is not the kind of place that has seen winter yet. It's not that cold. It's not snowing. So you would think it's a long distance
Down
away.
south?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, obviously John's going to have everybody dig up whatever they can. There's going to be Dragonstone everywhere. It's just not going to be this mountain of it that it can easily just keep mining.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. Oh, speaking of Dragonstone and like those people, we have giant zombies now. That's pretty badass, man.
Dude, that whole scene was so good. And you see the first one, you're like, and then you start thinking, is it the one that just died last season? And we're all like, oh, it was the last one. No. And then now there's like 3 more, but they're zombies or they're walkers. And I want to understand, maybe someone can help us on here. Oh, thanks for watching, guys. I just noticed we have a few viewers. Welcome.
Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead, Remy.
I was wondering, when you become a White Walker, okay, so there's like really like skeleton ones. I guess those have been like brought back from the dead after being dead for so long.
Right.
And then there is like the ones in between who are like, they still have some skin on, and they're kind of on their way to become the skeleton ones. Which I guess are not as old. And then there's the royal, the ones that are like, they're all alert, they're pretty evil looking, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're not like mindlessly following orders. What's their deal?
You're talking about like the Ice King? I was gonna say
the Ice King and his like. There's a few of them who are like that. The ones with blue eyes. There's a lot of them with no blue eyes.
Right. So I think the thing that's happening is the Ice King and whatever kind of race they are, whatever kind of beings they are. Oh my God, it's Jill. You are the shit. Thank you.
All right. Well, cool.
I think whatever kind of being they are, the power that they had was to raise the dead. At whatever state you were in when you were raised is the state that you look like. So some were dead for a long time. They look like skeletons. Some just died, so you can still have flesh on their skins and stuff. But at the same time, you know that other guy who in the last season we saw...
Jon Snow's uncle.
Right.
He's half and half or something, right?
He's dead, right? I mean, he's dead.
But yeah, but he's good. Like, what's going on there?
Exactly. So, like, who raised him, and like, where does his allegiance go, basically?
Well, I don't know if maybe someone can help us answer that one too. But like, can they find dead people that have been dead or buried for a long time and bring them out? That's why now everybody's burning all the dead, right? Because there's nothing there after it's burned. So, you know how the Hound buries the father and daughter? Because
Right.
that house is the same house where, remember, he left them there dying.
Right.
You remember that, right?
Vaguely. I was
Okay.
I was associating
He was-
a different memory to that house, but now I know I'm wrong. Go ahead.
He was with Arya, and
Right.
then when they were leaving, he took all their food and stuff.
Right. Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
so, and then he sees the stuff in the fire, and then he buries them, and that'd be cool if we see them come back, because he didn't burn them.
I still want the queen to come back. The old queen, the Stark queen.
Okay, who cares?
You have this halo around you now because of that light. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm so happy Jill's here. Jill, like I can't remember how long she's been watching us. I completely regret reading the plot leaks. Ivania, I completely agree with you. That's one of the main reasons I don't watch previews. I try my best not to read anything. Like, to make this show, we have access to HBO's media releases, and part of it literally has the descriptions of all the episodes. And I'm doing my best not to even read the preview descriptions, but it's hard,
Yeah.
and it's really hard. So I don't blame you.
I watched the preview, but I won't talk about it. Fernando, yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of Sansa might have gone too far off to the dark side, maybe, after all that she's been through, and we all understand why she's so upset. No, I think she wants the power as well. I don't think Jon Snow wants the power. I just think he's so like terrified, or not scared, but like, you know, he's worried about the walkers coming their way, and so that's his priority, which is definitely a better priority to have.
Right.
And that leads me to, does this mean that Jaime and Cersei either don't believe there's walkers, or are not worried about it at this moment, or they know of a way to kill them so easily they don't need to waste time thinking about them, and now more worried about the enemies surrounding them?
You tell me, have they brought it up? I don't remember a conversation where they've gone in depth, at least, about the White Walkers.
I don't think they've ever talked about it.
Right. Her concern is so much with her enemies, to the point that she's even counting her own kids as enemies. And yet again, we're proving that Jaime's easily the best character in the whole show, who spends most of his time being right. I mean, he's made a couple of mistakes in the past.
Dude, he's my favorite character development in this whole story so far.
I agree.
He's like doing full circle. At this point, we still don't know if he's like back to good or back to bad. He's obviously very upset with his sister in some way, and he's worrying. But he wants allies, but I still don't think he knows about the White Walkers coming or what's going up north.
But I mean, and again, in his defense, he realistically and logically has a good reason not to. He has other worries, where the queen has evil worries of trying to take over a world and revenge. He just wants to take care of his family. That's all he cares about. Like, in every season,
but at the
that's
same
all
time,
he wants.
But if he knew that what's coming from the north, like those legends in their world, that there's White Walkers out there, and it's been so long that the legends are gone. It's been thousands of years, just like dragons. But now they're like, if he knew and if he's seen them like John did, he would be like, okay, we need to get ready for this, attack. Paul just told us how it's done because we didn't do our homework and forgot to rewatch last season. But Benjen was stopped by the children. Stopped and saved by the children, really. But he's still half walker, right? Because he's got a blue eyes now or something, right? I don't remember.
What do you think about Dany becoming sort of an antagonist to the story? Mad Queen theory. Do you think we will see this in a TV show?
Why do you think...
Am I thinking of the right person? Ivania, just remember, you're talking to the person who barely can keep up with this show.
The Dragon Queen, you know.
Yes, I was thinking about the same
The one with the dragon.
I agree. I think that's the interesting way to take the show, is to take a lot of these characters and drive them to the point of mad, where they make crazy decisions as we're watching it.
You're saying that now, Nima, we're all going to start wondering who's good and bad anymore? Like, it's all going to be a mess of blurry...
They should.
They should. That's great storytelling right there, because then it leaves us, like, wondering and talking like this.
Right, I mean, think about it. Like, we're at season 7 now. The majority of the characters have had the same motives and the same side of good and bad, or same arcs for 7 seasons now. Like Littlefinger is somebody who kind of goes on the line of good or bad, and you never know. But majority of them, be like, oh, this guy's good. Oh, this queen, she's bad. Majority of the time, she's bad. So like, switch that around. Like, give me a reason to sympathize with the queen. That would be amazing. Make the dragon lady insane. Make her kill a lot of innocent people, and I'll be like, I love this show now.
Yeah, but back to Littlefinger. You know what that is, right?
Do I know who Littlefinger is?
You just talked about him.
Yeah, I know who Littlefinger is. It's it's cool. Lord Baelish or whatever his name is.
I would not play poker with him. He's like so good. We still don't know what his plan is. We've never known. He's probably in love with Sansa, but who knows?
Right, or you don't know if he's playing that.
We have a comment from Harry, and I wanted to talk about that because I was a little disappointed in Arya's killing the Freys scene. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It was, it was good. I'm not saying it's bad.
Why is that all you're gonna say? Tell me what you were disappointed
in. Well, hopefully Harry can answer that as well. But I just felt like it, like we talked about earlier this episode, Nima. It's how someone her size can put on this mask, and then all of a sudden she's that person. They have the budget; they could do something cooler with the CGI. With CGI now.
I agree. I agree with that. And you know what, Harry, you're saying with Oran having all the ships, that's something that's always on the back of my mind with this show is, and I think they do literally a horrible job, or maybe it's just something they don't care about doing a good job in, which, in that case, it's fine. They never talk about time progression. In those days, like, things take a long time. Not only traveling, but building all those ships take months and years.
Yeah. So how long has it been?
Exactly. Like, can you...
How long is this...
I don't need to...
What's going on? Like,
right.
Well, in the book, apparently, I haven't read it. Nima, I know you have not read the book,
nope.
But my wife Mariah has, and the stories happen. They don't necessarily happen at the same time. There's like there could be months and I guess years between them.
Logically,
the storylines,
sure.
The characters.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this dude built boats in like no way. It took him at least like a year to build these boats, but they're master builders of boats.
Right.
Maybe it took him like a month.
Sorry, everybody. Remy's going a little bit robotic, but you're back. You're here. One of the things is, like, I know they can't and they shouldn't put, like, a little date in a corner. Don't do that. But, like, somehow tell us how long it's been. Because you have these actors that haven't aged that much, unless they're kids. We, as the audience, barely know how long it's been. And all of a sudden, Oran shows up with 1,000 ships. And last season, he was just telling people to build them. So has it been 4 years? Has it been 10 years? What happened?
Well, I mean, and then if anything, Arya's character is like the one that's grown the least. It feels like the actress's physical appearance and stuff.
Grown the least.
Yeah, like I felt like her storyline has been
woman now.
I feel of course no I'm not saying she's not, but I feel like her storyline has just completely has been following her. Just by the day, in a way.
I agree. I know what you mean.
Like, we don't know how long she was blind for, but we know it's not for that long. Maybe it was a few months, which is not that long in this whole thing. But building ships, come on. So
right. But
could have been a long, long time. Remember, they don't have seasons there. I mean, they do, but they're so slow going that, I mean, they're still in summer or fall right now.
Sure, but I mean, aside from, we're not going to even touch on the time travel thing. Time still progresses there. People still age there. So we kind of want to know why. We want to know how. Like, these are things that they leave in the dark. And it almost gives the audience the feeling that these things are happening back to back, when in reality, in every sort of situation, it's not. And I feel like that's a missed opportunity to talk about those details.
Yeah, I agree with that, dude. That's I'm so glad that this episode. And I'm gonna go to what Paul just said. This episode, this season, is gonna be way more science fictionish or fantasy, I guess. So we saw the dragons, we saw the walkers, we saw a bunch of really cool stuff that was like more scientific. I guess those were the two things that were pretty science fiction-ish. So I'm glad that's happening. And back to what Paul was saying, yes. Tyrion and Jon. We can talk about those theories all day, man. But it'd be so cool. Like Jon is probably immune to fire, so is Tyrion. Let's just say that.
What? Hold on. Wait, you're just throwing these things out there? Jon is immune to fire? When did this happen?
Okay, I don't know if you follow this stuff, Nima, but last year I did a lot. Partially because Mariah, who's going to join us next week, knows a lot about it. She's read the book. She's a big fan of this show, so she's going to be a huge plus to us once we fix the internet in my house. I don't know where I was going with this.
You were talking about the research you did about Jon being immune to fire, apparently.
He might be a Targaryen, like Paul is saying right now. Like, there's, questionable lineage, and they might be Targaryens, or at least a little bit. Like Jon Snow, Tyrion.
Wait, if
these
you're
are
Targaryen,
the big fan theories going on.
Oh my god, am I this lost in this show? If you're Targaryen, does it mean you're immune to fire? I thought it's just a dragon queen.
I don't know if it means that, because Daenerys, the Dragon Queen's brother in the first season, he was not immune to fire or heat or anything. She was.
For sure died.
This guy definitely melted.
Mm-hmm. You know what? That's one of the things I miss, and I cannot wait that... It's exciting that we have another season of Game of Thrones, because it means somebody big is going to die a horrible death. And I cannot wait to talk about what weird death that they're going to go through.
Yeah. Already, I know who's going to die this season. I'm going to go on a limb here.
Who?
Praetian Brian of Tarth is going to die.
Tarth?
Oh, Nima, come on.
Is Tarth the girl that is protecting Bran? Is that who you're talking about?
No, she's the woman warrior who is protecting Sansa.
Oh no! Don't tell me that. She can never die.
She's going to die.
Don't tell me.
I guarantee it. Especially if Lady Stonehenge comes back. I bet you don't know who that is.
I freaking hate you. Lady Stonehenge.
I'm sorry. Let's not even go there. I'm sure people in there, especially people who know the theories, are going to comment.
I don't know, man. We have somebody in our... I think it's Harry, or maybe it was Fernando. One of those guys messed up the names. So I feel like I have company. I feel like I have somebody in the chat that doesn't know the names as badly as I do. What happened? Also, what about Varys?
Harry's saying that Varys... He's saying, what about Varys? He was in Dorne. Now he's with Dany. Dany is the Dragon Queen, Nima.
Yeah,
she has many names.
I am silently Googling who Varys is. Just don't worry about it, guys.
He's a Buddha-looking guy. Bald head, wears a robe.
Oh, the eunuch.
A robe.
Yeah, okay. God, how do you guys remember? This is the thing. I tried to write down the names of the characters of just this episode, and it's insane, this show. Like, it has 20-30 main characters that you should care about. Obviously, everybody's intelligence level is like up here, and my memory is all the way down here. So a character comes, I'm like, oh, this person's important, and then the next person comes, I'm like, all right, forgetting about that guy. Next person.
Well, you're also looking at the production value of the show. You like that stuff, lighting.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's looking so, like, other than Arya's scene with the phrase, the rest of the episode looked really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, the show's gorgeous, and they shoot it in, I imagine, in England and maybe even Iceland, whatever. It's European countries that are just stunning to look at, and I'm glad more movies and shows are being shot there, because they're just gorgeous places. And the nice thing about Game of Thrones is that you have these incredible locations that they just add CGI, like castles or small little things to it that make it a fantasy universe, which I love. I love these fantasy universes, and I kind of want to know more about the lore. So I could just put the show on mute and still enjoy it just as much as...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. No, it looks gorgeous. Man, there's going to be spin-offs of that too eventually, but dude, Paul, you're onto something.
Right. Paul is... You're on
the dragon
whole...
riding
right.
needs to happen. Okay, we've seen Dany do it. She rode her dragon around. She's like, oh, screw you guys, I'm going somewhere. And so she flew away. And what about Bronn or Bran, the kid, the last young Stark boy?
Right.
He's gonna warg with one of the dragons, right? I mean, come on. I want to see that. That'd be amazing.
Man.
So he might be able to work with them, or maybe help Jon Snow work with them or something. Something cool might happen there.
I'm the kind of
Pretty
mindset
excited about
that
that.
like people should just leave the damn dragons alone. They can kill enough people by themselves. You don't need to ride them. Just let them be. It's weird though. It's so weird in anything when people ride dragons. I'm like, you realize it's a dragon, right? Like, like they're not real, but
it could just toss you off and like
Right.
just catch you in the air and like eat you.
like it's almost like in our reality when people play around with tigers and lions. I'm like, you do know what that is, right? At any moment it can just eat you, and nobody in the universe would feel bad. So the whole idea of people like riding dragons is really weird to me. Like, I'm gonna nerd out for a second. Like, I love the
Yes.
Elder Scrolls universe, and they have dragons in Skyrim, which is the latest Elder Scroll game. Every time there's a dragon and like one of them talks to you, I'm like, wait, you're a dragon. This is weird. Like, like I don't understand. Which, by the way,
This is a game that you're playing?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Game of Thrones is supposedly heavily inspired by the Elder Scrolls universe, so you should get into that because it's fantastic.
How old is Game of Thrones? When was this written?
Um,
J.R.R. Martin, sir.
I have no idea. I imagine maybe 15 years old.
That's right.
Most.
It's pretty
And-
old. Yeah,
and
but
Elder Scrolls is 20 something years old, and
it's older.
And
so
these are all European lore, so they fall into the same lore or fantasy as like Lord of the Rings. So that lineage goes back, 40, 50, 60, 100 years when you're talking about Tolkien at this point.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if going back to dragons. You kind of lost me there with your geeky sci-fi
yeah.
stuff.
It's not sci-fi.
I think John's
it's
gonna ride a
fantasy.
dragon.
You need to,
Yeah, I know. Sci-fi is in the future-ish.
sci-fi is based on
time travel
reality.
and such.
Fantasy is not based on reality. That's how
Well,
you
this
can
is
think.
kind of based on reality because these people used to live like this in the 1300s.
There was no zombies or dragons in the 1300s, man.
Who knows, Nima?
We knew 1300s. That's not even that long ago. We have records.
I know. Well, yeah, I know. But like, if we had dinosaurs, we probably had dragons. Just saying, evolution, a lot of time, flying.
That's actually an
lizards.
argument that I've heard a lot. That they're saying that
I don't know
dragons
about
could
the
have been
fire
a thing.
though. They need to figure out how the fire happened with the, because that's pretty epic. So, anyways,
Sorry, I'm
can't wait
sweating
for
like
the next
an idiot.
episode.
Yeah, next Sunday we'll be back. By the way, anybody that's
Yeah.
watching, please subscribe, and we'll be back next week with a better. With a better show.
One where Nima doesn't have hiccups.
It's not hiccups. It's burps.
Oh, well.
I appreciate you
that case, it's
assuming
not.
that I'm classy, that it's just hiccups, but no, man. There's no class here. Just burps.
Man, I'm just doing this, man. That's been like, what, 3-4 weeks? So I'm
It's
glad
been way
Game
too
of
long.
Thrones is rolling now. We're going to meet next Sunday, everyone. Thanks for watching us.
Oh, yeah.
And thanks for talking to us live, because that's pretty fun for us. So you guys, Paul, Harry, Ivania, I hope I'm saying that right.
Don't forget Fernando.
Fernando, and of course, Jill, who is one of our fans, I guess. May I call you that, Jill?
I think that's weird.
You've
Just a
been
viewer.
back. I know that's pretty weird. That was not cool. I'm sorry. Just thanks for coming back and watching us again. So hopefully you guys will subscribe, and we'll be back next week.
Right. I this very moment I realized I have complete control of when we should switch to the ending video. So I can put this awkward pause where you're like, all right, I said my goodbyes. I can just be like, nope, not yet. All right. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Nima.
Thanks, Nima. That was pretty awkward, but glad you're ending it now.
What's your damn name? You need to...
Oh, I'm Remy.
Yeah, there you go. Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
God, we're on a scale of 1 to 10. We're like a solid 10 if you're trying to do the worst job ever.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not trying that hard.
I just now realized the fan in my room isn't on, and I'm sweating my ass off.
Usually it's really loud. Are we off, you think?